Gentlemen, start your egos. It's
Hi, I'm Nat.
I'm Jenny.
And this is Oscar Bait.
It is your guide to who we think is probably going to take out the Oscars.
But let's be honest, we're pretty good at this, so they probably will.
Yeah, you could probably put money on these and be totally fine. Don't put money on it, because we don't have any legal team to back us up.
We're nearly there. It's nearly time for the big night, Hollywood's Night of Nights. And this is our second last category breakdown episode.
Oh my god. Until next time, I guess.
Yeah, until next year. Anyway, so for the penultimate episode, we are taking on what is usually the penultimate category. Best Director.
Now, this is quite like an interesting field this year.
It is so interesting. The choices that the Academy have come to, some of the snubs in this one as well.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting and telling, but let's go through the nominees.
So, nominated for a Best Achievement in Directing award this year, Adam McKay for The Big Short, George Miller, for Mad Max Fury Road, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu for The Revenant, Lenny Abramson for Room, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. But this one's interesting because, there's three directors here who, they're not necessarily rookies, but
they are they're quite green.
They're fresh to the Oscars.
Yeah.
To this sort of genre of film, I guess.
Absolutely. So, let's go through them piece by piece. Adam McKay for The Big Short. Now, Adam McKay comes from a background of,
just guess what movie he directed.
It's so damn hot. Milk was a bad choice.
That's right. He's responsible for Anchorman.
And a bunch of other sort of silly Will Ferrell-esque comedies.
Yeah, he's part of the frat pack, this guy.
Yeah.
Which I guess actually kind of makes sense in a way that he ends up on The Big Short as being his first,
It's a bit of a
drama.
It's kind of a fratty movie.
It's definitely like a 2000s movie, which is where he fits in, right?
But it's also it's the only comedy here.
Yes.
And it's the only comedy that's gotten major Oscar attention in a very long time. But amazingly interesting to see him here.
Yeah, it's a very strange transition.
But I think it's cool though, because The Big Short is a big, complicated movie, and it did require very deft director's touch. And he actually brought it pretty hard, I thought.
Yeah, well, like when we were talking about the writing of The Big Short, it's very well balanced between all the pieces of the puzzle, the explanation and the characters and that ensemble. And there's so many different plot lines going on. And it's an enjoyable movie that teaches you something.
Yeah.
So, it's very impressive. It's a great directing effort. I don't think he's going to win this one.
No, but it is a nice recognition for him.
It's a nod, yeah.
And I think it might turn him into more of an auteur going forward.
So let's move on to another rookie then. So, Room, Lenny Abramson.
Yeah, Lenny Abramson has not actually done very much. This is, I think, his third feature. One of the other films I know he made before this is Frank with Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, which I really quite like.
Which I actually haven't seen. And so I haven't seen any of his previous films. And so I'm, have a bit of difficulty judging him on his past work. But Room, as a directing effort, I was surprised to see him here.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty shocked as well. I guess the performances and the acting in it is really good, and that's a big part of directing. But personally, I think it was a very poorly directed movie. And in terms of the whole managed piece, I think it was it didn't work very well.
And there's no, what I like to look for in direction is that sort of seamless relationship with the cinematographer as well, and creating a look of a movie as well, and some artistic management over it.
Yeah.
And Room to me, I thought was a fine film, but it just comes off a bit boring compared to everything else here, you know?
I mean, I will be a lot harsher
Very
on
straight.
Room. I thought it was contrived. It's interesting because when you look at Frank, I think Frank has quite a distinct voice, and it's very much like an indie movie. But this, I think it just didn't have anything unique about it in terms of
to me it paints
feeling.
To me it paints by the numbers, the feeling.
Yeah.
And I think the reason everyone's so impressed with it is because it's just such powerful source material.
Yeah.
And Brie Larson gives the performance of her career. But I think as a film itself, I think you're absolutely right. There's nothing unique or particularly exciting about the filmmaking here.
No, I was actually getting kind of irritated by a lot of the filmmaking choices, even the score and things like that. So to me, it's a real shock that this would even be considered for directing, because I don't think, apart from the acting, it really brought it.
Yeah, I think it really stole a spot from Ridley Scott, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure, which was a management piece, which is, just as
for The Martian,
difficult
that
to
is.
do. Yeah, yeah. Not for Prometheus. Well, I think there was so many directors this year that should have gotten it over Room. Like Sicario, Ex Machina. I know I go on about it all the time, but those were
beautifully directed piece.
Well, yeah, completely effective and had a strong tone to them, as well as being incredibly well acted. And yeah, they missed out for this movie.
Yeah. He's not going to get it though, so we can move on.
Yeah, so whatever.
Next nominee is Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. Tom McCarthy has also not made very many films. I think this is also his third or fourth film.
Yeah.
The film that I the film that I know by Tom McCarthy from before this is The Visitor, starring Richard Jenkins, which is just an incredibly good movie about immigration. And he's just a really subtle filmmaker. I think that's his style. He just makes these really sweet, not necessarily sweet, but open, sparse movies about the small people affected by big problems.
Yeah, that's
and he's
a good
really
way to put it.
Good at nailing that. And that's what Spotlight's all about.
It's a realism, I think, because you kind of don't watch these movies, because I totally agree with you about The Visitor, that you kind of just take it in. You're not really overwhelmed by it. And Spotlight has that similar thing where you're kind of just watching these people, deal with this massive problem.
It sucks you in.
Yeah.
And you do end up being right in there with them in this really, I'm not going to say underhanded kind of way, but this really subtle way. Before you know it, you're really invested in the story.
He's got a very deft hand for this sort of realistic human stories. It's really lovely. But I just don't think he's going to get it, because he's up against two big contenders with really big movies.
Yeah. It's it'll be a shame. He'll be moving on to great things. But with the final two here, I'm still actually I have leaned one way now.
Okay.
But I was on the fence for a long time. I would love it to be George Miller for Mad Max. I think this could be a career award for George Miller. He's made some incredible films over his career. And he's just got this brilliantly creative, unique vision. And nothing has shown that off more in his canon than Mad Max Fury Road. This is just an epic,
it's balls out,
amazing film.
It's incredible, really, that it all came together and worked so well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a masterwork, and he deserves to win for this movie.
I feel a but coming on.
But
no.
But, and I hate to say it because I want it to be George Miller, but all the awards up to this point have been giving it to Alejandro González Iñárritu for The Revenant, which is interesting because he did win last year for his very ambitious Birdman.
Well, I think that he won't win. Okay. I disagree.
Ballsy.
But, I think it is probably maybe ballsy and incorrect. Mad Max is an icon of cinema. Like, it's not just an icon of Australian cinema, it's an icon of cinema worldwide.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be falling towards him because of that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I thought initially. That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, but remember that, you know, Iñárritu won for Birdman last year, but in the Golden Globes and stuff, he was not winning the awards.
That's true.
Richard Linklater was getting all the awards leading up to the Oscars, and most people, myself included, thought Boyhood had it in the bag.
Yeah.
And Birdman took it. So I feel like it could be the same thing, where a lot of people are like, shit, The Revenant's getting all these lead-up awards, but then... bam, Mad Max Fury Road comes in right at the end just to get the big ones.
And I feel that too. That's why I'm still like really teetering on the fence with this
true.
one. There were really big parallels with these two films too, in that they were both, you know, huge, grueling operations, required lots of intense special effects and makeup as well.
Collaboration.
Lots of design work as well. Although I'd say Mad Max definitely pips on the design
for sure.
front.
Yeah.
And they're both also just fantastic manifestations of a vision.
Yes, true.
Which is kind of the point of achievement.
Yeah.
They're both, you know, we've got two giant auteurs going head to head here. So really for me, it is that retro awarding legacy thing of Iñárritu got it last year. So I don't want, like, in my gut it says they won't give it to him this year.
I know.
My gut says they won't.
But I was also so convinced that Boyhood would take it last year.
Oh, it should have, to be honest.
Yeah.
If the Academy had known that The Revenant was going to come out this year, they would have given it to Linklater last year. But it's just timing with these things.
Yeah.
It's like a domino right now.
My heart is on George Miller and Mad Max, I think. Because, look, they were both very simple, directional movies. And I didn't enjoy The Revenant, and I enjoyed Mad Max.
Yeah.
So based on purely of my
I'm gonna sentimentally lean towards Mad Max as well, just knowing what the Academy's like.
We can't trust
with you know, giving old directors a nod.
Yeah, and it's sort of one of the telltale signs will be when they start giving out the technical awards. That's when you can start to get a feel of what side of the balance beam they're going to fall on. It
will be very interesting to see. What do you think? Do you think it'll be a retro award for George Miller?
Or a back-to-back win?
I know. Exciting.
I don't want that.
Leave us a comment below. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll catch you next time. Stay shiny, Chicago.
Classy.
Is it classy?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm going to do that again.
San Diego.
I'm so shit at this. I haven't watched that movie in a while.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Stay classy, San Diego.
That's right. He's